Good morning, friends. Yes, we're back at production. We have the concrete truck. They are pouring the dock and the sidewalk today. We're getting close to wrapping up this project, so we're gonna kind of give you an update on this, and then I believe my fellas are gonna be in the machines today cleaning up, doing some machine work. So if you enjoy dirt and diesel, then stay tuned, because I'm going to give you some fun activities with the fellas in the cats. So we are up here at production. If you are not familiar with this project, we are installing a loading unloading dock here at the nursery, and while we're at it, we're going to go ahead and connect the sidewalk that I am currently standing on right here. And we're going to put a sidewalk all the way to the furthest greenhouse. You can see the forms, but the concrete truck is here. They're starting to pour the top of the loading dock. So let me show you what's going on. It is obviously bright and early this morning, and Ernest and Justin and the folks from Carolina Landscaping and Construction are here this morning. They are getting the final concrete pour with the loading dock. And so the forms on the outside, that is what is holding up those the walls of the dock. This has been a multi-level process to get to this point. We had to first pour the footers, so very down here at the bottom. I had to dig out everywhere where the concrete dock is going and put footers. So that was the first one. Then they had to come back and finish up the rebar, because of course there is rebar down there in the footers. They installed the forms that are holding up the walls of the dock. So they had to, of course, put the walls in and add, get all that in. And then, as you can see, we've got gravel. So they backfilled the entire area with washed stone. And so that kind of builds up. And then what they're doing today is adding that top layer of concrete to the pad. And let's see. So they've already poured it. So now they are getting it, starting the process of smoothing it out. So this is what the dock will look like. Now under there, y'all, there is a bunch of rebar. I think Jerry was able to show you maybe a bird's eye view of what was going on. I was a little late getting up here. Sorry about that, folks. And so Justin and Israel are coming through now and smoothing it out. Of course, you've got to get all that concrete nice and level in there. But so what's going to happen is they're pouring this, getting this smooth, and then they will work their way down the sidewalk. You can see some of that rebar. I'll try to get in there in just a second and kind of show some of it to you. But while they were also in here, before they poured the concrete, they installed a drain for us. So this drain, which is nice and covered up, runs in front of this last greenhouse. So of course they'll leave it open, but this will catch any kind of water that's coming out of the greenhouse and then wash it away. We can pipe it away, and that way we don't have a bunch of water coming out and going on to the dock. So it's one of those, like, see if I can just lift it up here a little bit, right? So that's what it is. It's one of those grates that we can easily then take this top off and wash out, blow out any, because of course we'll have debris from the greenhouse in there. But yeah, so we've got that installed. Let me go over there and show you the rebar. On our way to the rebar, let's look at gravel, because rocks are important. So this is what we call washed stone. I'll have to ask Jerry what size this is, but basically it is pure gravel, right? So there's no fines in there, there's no sand, there's nothing. It literally is just straight gravel. So this is what water flows through really well. Of course, it fills in the gaps really well because this front facing part of the dock is going to be 4 feet tall, and clearly you don't want to fill the whole thing up with concrete. So fill it in with this washed stone. All right, so here we go. So you can start to see the rebar that is in here, because you've got to, I mean, it goes without saying, right, to make sure that this is structurally sound. And so there is rebar all up in the outside forms, but look how nice that looks, right? So you were with us when they were pouring that. So you've got these great, beautiful little walls right there with the rebar in, all tied in together. And so the rebar being tied into the sidewalls, going into the dock, it just all ties in together. So nobody is going to collapse. So they're working on getting the dock nice and smooth, and then they will make their way through to the sidewalk. So they formed in the sidewalk, like I said, running in front of both of the greenhouses all the way down here to the dry storage. So you can see it's all formed, right? They have the drain in here. So we've got a drain collecting the water. Of course, that gets piped underneath the sidewalk here and comes on through. We already had, there's another one, I think, on this side as well. But evidently, late yesterday afternoon, Justin was up here doing the final forms and everything. And he was literally putting in the last stake, right? So one of those stakes to hold the form. And when he put it in, he hit the main water line. And hence why we've got a wet spot. So Jerry was up here with him, just, chatting with him at the time. And they were like, and Justin was like, daggum. He said, I didn't even need to put that stake in, because of course it's always the last one, right? Whenever you're doing something and you're so close to being done with a project, oftentimes it's that last thing that you do where something happens. So he hit the main water line, water went shooting everywhere. So thankfully Jerry was up here, was able to get the water turned off. They got it repaired, all is well. So that's what kind of Jerry, I think, is working on a little bit right here, is getting that area cleaned up. So when the concrete is ready to go in here, they are good to go. But of course, it's, something as simple as sidewalks is, it's not the most glamorous part of maybe, a gardening, nursery, greenhouse work, but it is so vitally important. And the reason that it's important is because we use those rolling racks to move all of the product from the big house over here and into the annex. So when our sweet folks who place all of those great online orders, it just makes it more efficient, right? So that way we can get them easily and use those rolling racks, not only from the big house to the dry storage and into the annex, and get them prepared and sent to you. But now we can continue and take those rolling racks from here and use them with the other houses. And my boys, well, all the staff here really is going to be very excited, because of course we get deliveries on a regular basis, right? And so many times, I would say 99.9% of the times, the trucks have to have somebody to unload them, because the stuff is on pallets, right? And they don't have the equipment to take the pallets off and then to put it in. So they don't have the machinery, whatever, So we have to do it, of course. And so that's either Jerry or Jackson with the Bobcat to come in here and unload. So now anybody can do it, because the trucks will be able to go and just pull right up to the dock. Of course, we have pallet jacks And sometimes, you know, the trucks will have pallet jacks so they can get them off onto the dock and leave it there. Or our ladies up here at production, they can use the pallet jacks, get it off the truck, and then move it to go wherever it needs to go. So, like I said, not the most glamorous project, not the most, you know, I would say frilly project, but it is one that is so incredibly necessary. And this is a great time of year to do it, both for the Carolina landscape crew and for us, because things are a little bit slower right now. So yeah, that's what we're doing. So I'll keep you updated on how they are progressing, and then we'll go check on the fellas. Jerry's actually got the Bobcat over here running because, of course, all the machinery is diesel, and got to get it all heated up. The other morning when it was like 13 degrees, Jerry and Jackson were working in the area that I'm going to show you, and the excavator kept cutting off, and they think that the diesel was like almost trying to turn into like a gel solidify because it was so cold. Once it warmed up, it was fine. But anyway, a little chilly, not nearly as cold this morning. I think we're just right below freezing this morning. So it's supposed to warm up. So we'll keep you updated on what's going on here. All right, my friends, so they have got all of the concrete has been poured. They're doing all of their final, making it pretty, basically, is what they're doing. So they are smoothing it out. Israel has got the floater, so you float that across, and essentially what it does is it helps the stone and the concrete settle down, and it brings up the water and the cement, the fines part of it. And so that's where you get that really kind of like glassy, smooth look to it. So he's floating on that. Justin is back here. He is doing some final things up against the edge of the dock. And then Ernest is helping the driver get the machine, the truck all cleaned up. So what we're going to do is let them get their final things done, as far as showing everything, smoothing it all out. Let me show it to you. I'll show it to you what they're doing, and then we'll move on from there. So there Israel has that floater, and you can see that he, this is where the art comes in and just makes it smooth, and he'll get all those lines out, but making it just, again, make it look really pretty. And yeah, I find this so fascinating. I could sit here and just watch him do this the entire time because I just think it is so incredibly cool. But when you go and you look at it, right, look how nice and smooth that is. Oh, it's just so pretty. And then Justin is coming through. He has the little hand trials, and let's see if I can get over here. All right, so there you go. So you can see that he's smoothing it out, getting all the nooks and crannies in there while tiptoeing and making sure he doesn't fall off anything. So anyway, we're gonna let them continue to work. My fellas have gone to go get their equipment. Jerry went to go get a new drone battery because we're gonna show you a bird's eye view of what is happening on down there. So nice cold, chilly start, but very productive here at Creekside Nursery. Alrighty, so moving on from concrete to a little earth moving, shall we say. So if you remember, how many years ago was that when we cleared the land, did everything to build this greenhouse, and then of course, in that we had to, of course, regrade the whole land and everything so we could have a nice big flat pad, and we had to have water issues that we had to deal with. We had a whole series, I think, of building this greenhouse. So when we did that, we also went ahead and had to push back this tree line some. And so when we did that, of course, if you're moving back a tree line, that means that you're going to go ahead and start to remove some trees. So when we did that, we had another great local company, a friend of ours, Jason Cloninger, and so he came out with his crew and cleared the land for us, graded it, and did all of that. And there was quite a number of trees that had to come down so that we could have this area for the production area. And so it just made the most sense, because we are blessed to have out in the country and have space available. So what they did is they piled up all the trees and the debris, a lot of the soil too, that they had to when they had to regrade. And they created this massive pile. I mean, this thing is huge. And so over the past couple of years, this pile has been drying out, and of course, just sitting there, just kind of doing its thing. And so this fall, I guess technically it's still not winter yet, they went ahead, my boys, and started to burn this pile. Of course, you get fire permits. People get so fixated on all these technicalities, but yes, permits and all the things, and you watch the weather and you burn appropriately and accordingly. But look at this. This thing has shrunk down big time. So what they have been doing on the days when it has been really cold and it's been hard to get outside to do work, because of course the machines have heat in them, so they're inside and they're toasty. I mean, they're nice and warm. So what they have been doing is basically trying to condense this pile and pull out all of the wood, because like I said, there's a bunch of soil in here. Let me flip the camera around and so I can show you a little bit better. So what Jerry has right now, that is actually fencing that they found in the pile, because years ago, my daddy was a farmer, and that he had goats in this field. After he finished raising hogs, he turned the land into goats. And so that is part of the fencing from the goats that they found when they were clearing the land. It was up in the trees, and so when the trees came down, of course, then it all got wrapped up all in here together. So basically what you're looking at is where you see the debris here. So from here all the way to where that culvert is, that's how it spanned, and then it went deep. I mean, this was a massive pile, y'all. And so you can see, like Brenna running through there, all of the soil that was in here, because of course you're moving earth and you're moving all this stuff, and so soil will naturally get wrapped up in there. So Jackson and my daddy, primarily because they're the biggest firebugs, they burned this for a couple of days and got it down a ton. But because of all the soil that is in here, then it becomes hard to burn, because obviously dirt does not burn. So what he and Jerry have been working on the past couple of days is going through and literally like picking up the wood and making these piles. So you can kind of get a sense, you got Brenna right there. So you can kind of get a sense of how big these piles are and how big the trees are. And so what they will then do is come through and burn those individual piles and get this knocked down. Of course, there's still some more things in here that they could come through and pick up with the machinery and put in those piles. So that is what they have been working on. But you can see, like, look at this, y'all. I mean, like, huge, massive, and I say massive, it is all relative. My point is, these are not like sticks. These are not little pieces, right? So when they were clearing out the land, you've got, a tree stump here, and you can see, right? So then you have the soil that's naturally in there. So as it burns and moving that, and the soil will come out, and, so it's something that you just have to work and work and work and work. So that is what they are working on right now. I went and got an update from Jerry. So basically what they're doing is they are working together in tandem. Jerry, of course, is in the excavator. What he is doing is cycling through and digging through as he finds those nice big logs that are buried, like example A right there. So what he's doing is finding those and then taking those and putting them on the piles, right, so that they can burn. Then when he finds those, obviously he puts them on the pile. If he just finds relatively small debris in the soil, he's taking that and making piles so that then Jackson can come through and he scoops up that soil, and we're gonna stockpile it up onto the hill, because this is like some really pretty soil, right? So this was either the topsoil, but it is just like, you know what our soil looks like. Like, it is like red, and this is like a really beautiful, rich brown with some good compost in it just from the years, right? So what they're doing is going to save it and stockpile it. Yes, there's going to be some smaller pieces in there, but we're just going to let it sit and let that decompose, which is only going to add to the soil. So then we can then reuse that soil in if we're building up new gardens, or we need to raise up some gardens, that kind of thing, because obviously we don't want this beautiful rich soil to go to waste. So that's kind of what's happening right now. Brenna's not quite sure what to think about it. Like, she loves being out here in the cold. This is like her absolute weather that she loves and adores. However, and then this is her heaviness with the sticks. She loves a good stick, but what she does not particularly enjoy is the feeling of the earth moving, and then of course big huge logs coming in and, quote, flying through the air as Jerry moves them. So yeah, she stands beside of me, and then she kind of runs away, and then she'll grab something and play with it and having a grand old time. And yeah, so we know who the real star of the show is around here, right, B? Yeah, it's you. So they are working. This is going to be a process. Like I said, they've been doing this for that freaks her out. Been doing this for a couple of days, and so the work shall continue. As far as what do we plan on doing with this piece of land, as far as when they get it all situated and taken care of, this we're definitely going to take advantage of this land. It is at the back end of the property, so these trees, I think, are staying here. I don't really know. So most of them are very kind of small pines, small trees, but this area will be perfect if we wanted to do like a shade growing area. So it would be great because the sun, this is west behind me, so this would give some really good shade in the afternoon. And even because in front of me, where I was facing just a second ago, you can see that there's trees over there. So that's east, so we get some morning sun, and then it will go into the shade. So this will be a great area, and it's relatively a nice flat spot. So if we want to do shade, either shrubs, perennials, that kind of stuff, just be another great growing zone. We could easily put up like a shade cloth here. So we're always thinking about, how can we grow, how can we expand without, always having to put up a greenhouse, because we are blessed to be in North Carolina, a zone 8A, and we can grow outside a lot of plants year round, and the plants oftentimes do a whole lot better outside than they do inside. Especially when you're talking about shrubs and perennials, they want to be outside. So we shall see, and of course we'll bring you along for the journey with this area. I think Jerry's going to put the drone back up and show you a bit of a bird's eye view. We shall see. But as always, we so appreciate you hanging in there with us as we do all sorts of fun projects here as winter is knocking on the door. Officially, it definitely feels like fall around here. And so, as always, we would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. That way you don't miss those 5 videos that we do each and every week. So y'all can just be entertained by all the shenanigans that go on here at Creekside Nursery. Y'all have a great day. Stay warm out there, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.